This headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Young men have fallen faster than any demographic in America over the last 40 years.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Nobody needs men!
The future is female.
Men and women are drifting further apart, and society is crumbling because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
You've kind of got the trad-con versus Redpill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence. When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart. I interview them on the other side.
I didn't meet my son until he was 15 months old.
How much did you spend trying to get him back?
On legal fees alone was about $200,000.
Before you know it, you're homeless. You're literally just thrown out onto the street.
We absolutely reinforce bad behavior from women.
Wives are taught to leave their husbands, and then daughters grow up without their fathers.
Family is the foundation of society.
Every problem in society comes from single mother homes.
A lot of women will just chase this negative rabbit hole of happiness, endless happiness.
Feminism's biggest failures is it lies to women. We tell women to date as many guys as possible. We tell them to put off family into marriage.
You are allowed to leave your perfect husband. You are allowed to end a relationship with a really great boyfriend.
Oh, freeze your eggs, have an abortion. What? You're evil.
I don't think there's anything else in life that we actually ever go into preparing to fail. Right. Like, if you have the mentality of this is going to go wrong and be pessimistic, naturally the outcome is going to be that it's going to fail anyway. Yeah. It's self-sabotage. And that's the thing, like, women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
This myth that we live in an age of male privilege. Where's my male privilege?
They think, well, men have all the rights. They have all the power.
Privileged patriarchal system that we have.
Why doesn't our society care about men's rights?
I have no friends, no wife, and no social life.
Men are alone in this situation. Men are homeless. Men are thinking about eating guns.
I've seen so many men on the brink of suicide, and they didn't do anything wrong.
How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure.
Women are helplessly dependent upon men.
The so-called deaths of despair from suicide, overdose, or alcohol, 3 times higher among men than among women.
Culture is telling men you are no good.
You got to get your act together.
I think men have failed themselves.
What kind of a man are you? What kind of a woman are you going to attract?
If men are in trouble, so are women.
Everybody knows this is a huge problem, but nobody wants to admit it.
Every single woman at the table said they wanted a man.
500K.
500K. 300K.
200K.
Am I crazy?
Everything is really set up against you to fail as a man.
If men make less than women, women don't want to marry them.
So you know who wants more economically and emotionally viable men? Women.
I don't want to be an independent woman anymore.
I don't want to be a strong, independent woman.
I'm over it. When is it going to be my turn?
Where are we meeting the men that don't stop?
I can't keep having these same conversations.
The only simp here is you, Pearl. You simp for men.
I think you simp for women.
She's a provocateur. She says stupid stuff, but Pearl is right about this.
It's already happening. It's just not out in the open yet.
Now it's just hookup culture is going to be our fairy tale ending because men don't want a wife and women can't find a husband. The future, if everybody follows your path, is there is no future.
We go into population decline, and our economy goes into decline.
Civilization will crumble.
The American story does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
What
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. I want to give a shout out to Aaron, who donated $1,000 last show to get us to $30,000 raised for this divorce documentary. As you guys know, after getting demonetized, we had to let everybody go, but we're slowly rebuilding, which is really awesome here. And so now we're raising money to finish this divorce documentary. I have a bunch of footage. We just gotta get to around 100K to get it done. I do have $1 million put in the GoFundMe, but it's just because, you know, I shoot for the stars, and there was this movie level production team I got a quote for, so I just thought I'd put it out there. But yeah, we can get it done around 100, so 30K. Thank you guys so much. We really couldn't get this done without you, so I appreciate it. Okay, so today we are talking about Oliver Anthony. So welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. Getting married is a risk to every man in the West. It doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, black, white, successful, or a bum. Any man that gets married can end up in divorce court when his wife decides to leave him and take his children. Some people in the space say marry a woman early so she can be with you when you have nothing. She'll remain loyal because she was with you in the beginning before she had the money. And that narrative is false. And I want to say too, there's this narrative from conservatives, and they have this idea that women are loyal. I'll see a man that posts his wife and says she was there for me when I had nothing. But the equivalent of that is she bet on a horse that won. So, you know, she would have bounced if you had nothing for too long. Like maybe you had nothing for a few years, but if you were falling behind your male peers by a significant amount and she didn't think you'd bounce back, yeah, you'd bounce. So you guys got to stop looking for unicorns. We don't exist. She will remain loyal because she was with you in the beginning before you had money, again, is the idea. And this narrative is false. Women marry a man at the beginning. Women that marry a man at the beginning are just as likely to divorce as the rest of them. Enter Oliver Anthony.
Oliver Anthony's wife waited until he was worth millions of dollars and then divorced him and took half his shit and half his money because, of course, she did. Like, y'all remember the Rich Men of Richmond guy, Oliver Anthony? You know, he put out that one song and just blew up. Yeah, he made the smart decision of contacting Joe Rogan after he blew up and was like, what should I do? Because all these record companies were offering him millions of dollars. And he took Joe Rogan's advice to not sign with any of them because Joe Rogan knew he was going to get screwed. So he banked on himself and became worth way more than those record companies were offering. But then his wife filed for divorce, and she didn't only want half of what he was worth now. No, she wanted 60%.
And so this is female envy, right? Women cannot stand when the man becomes the main character. And in most relationships, the man does eventually become the main character. So look, back in the day, I would put her now, she's pretty cute, 6, maybe 5, 6. I'd say 6. I'd even say 7 for her age because she looks like she's in her 30s, 40s. So I'd say for her age, she's probably one of the more attractive women in her age group because women by their 30s tend to get fat and she looks thin. Now, he's just like a poor guy working a normal job and he gets famous overnight. A lot of women can't handle the competition anxiety because they've never had to deal with the burden of performance because they married young. Other times, it's just she likes the attention on her. She can't handle it.
Of all future earnings, 60% of everything this man makes for the rest of his life. That's what she wanted. I just want to remind you that.
Or is it this girl? Is that the same woman? Okay, I'm not sure, but the concept is still the same.
They were poor. This dude was selling farm equipment and she was happily married. But I guess suddenly he just became a bad husband. Yeah, sure, that's what it was. But anyway, so that's the story behind his new hit single, Scornful Woman, which, if you listen to it, I think it perfectly explains what type of woman he was married to.
Okay. All right, next, watch the first minute and 30 seconds.
Like private music studio. And nobody has to hear it until you listen to it the first time. You're like, God damn.
Yeah.
Like Oliver Anthony's new album.
I haven't heard it.
Bro.
Really?
Bro, there's a song We're going to play the song.
Leak it?
You can't play it on the air, so we'll play it.
One you already sent me?
Oh,
I
yeah.
should have it already.
We'll play it, and then we'll react to it. Okay, I'll tell you guys, cut all this out. I'll tell you guys what happened. So Oliver Anthony has no money, right? He's poor. He's selling farm equipment. He puts his song on YouTube. He's a fucking superstar, right? He doesn't know what to do. He freaks out. He asked me for advice. I call him on the phone. We have a conversation for like a fucking hour where I go, don't sign anything with anybody. And he's like, they're telling me I have to strike while the iron's hot. I go, bullshit. They're trying to steal money from you. I go, you're independent. You're already there. You already made it. I know if you wrote that song.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you wrote that song, you could write a dozen of those fucking songs. You don't need anybody. He's like, they're offering me $7 million. I go, no. They're offering to steal money from you for the rest of your life. That's what they're doing. I go, you don't need them. You have talent. So cut to, he starts making millions of dollars, doing arenas. The wife divorces him. She wants everything. She wants everything.
Whoa.
She wants more than half. She wants all the money that he's going to be making in the future because she was with him when he was broke. So it's fucking crazy. He's just tortured.
What a fucking idiot.
Wants to die. Wants to die. And he writes this song.
I can't play the song, but I will read the lyrics in a second. Thank you, Jeffo, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. You guys are so nice. You don't even have to super chat me at all. So many people just watch for free on YouTube that I know when you guys super chat, I know you guys are the hardworking men in America. So it really does mean the world to me. I'm so grateful I get to do this every day, to be honest. So thank you guys so much. Okay, so I'm going to read the lyrics to Scornful Woman. So this is the song that Oliver Anthony wrote. Well, she's got a side to her I want to run from. She'll turn a warm afternoon into a cold, cold one. Well, Eve grabbed the apple, and then Adam took a bite. And now all these years later, the math still ain't right. With a scornful woman. I used to sleep so good. I didn't have a nightmare. I was busy dreaming, believing he's always going to be right there. And now the middle of the day is like the middle of the night, and the court says 50-50, but the math don't seem right. With a scornful woman, she can have all the money and they can keep all the fame. I'd go back to broke as a joke if I could get a break from the pain. So Oliver Anthony, like most men, got served a nice dose of the red pill. His wife was just waiting for the opportunity to leave him and take what she could for himself. This is the reality for most men that get married. Now, let's take a look at an article about Oliver Anthony's situation. Oliver Anthony may have topped the charts with rich men north of Richmond. But even fame, talent, and a Billboard #1 can't protect a father from the clutches of a system that too often sides with the scornful. Anthony, real name Christopher Anthony Lunsford, has joined the countless ranks of American men who rise just high enough to become a target in family court. His wife, Tiffany Lunsford, has repeatedly demanded not only a split of his current assets, but a share of his future earnings. A move that, according to podcaster Joe Rogan, left Anthony feeling gutted and betrayed. On June 4th, 2025, Anthony released Scornful Woman, a blistering ballad of betrayal that lays bare the pain, the pressure, and the financial toll that so often goes unspoken. The court says 50-50, but the math don't seem right with a scornful woman who lives to fight. Before his viral hit in 2023, Anthony was living in a camper, working odd jobs, trying to make ends meet. He and Tiffany had built a life together through hardship, raising 2 children and welcoming a third in late 2023. But success, as it so often does, brought scrutiny and leverage, especially in divorce court, where sudden income and public acclaim became fuel for financial warfare. Though details of their custody arrangement remain sealed, the silence is telling. In a world full of celebrity divorces, particularly those involving children, the legal machinery often prioritizes privacy, but that doesn't mean fairness is part of the equation. If Anthony's lyrics and demeanor are any indication, he's not just fighting for his paycheck, he's fighting to stay a part of his kids' lives. Joe Rogan didn't mince words during his June 2025 podcast. She wants half of everything, including future earnings. He's tortured. man wants to die. He's there crying. It's effing crazy. This story echoes a broader, more sinister pattern. Ex-spouses using family court not just to divide assets, but to exploit future labor. It's not just a settlement, it's a sentence. Divorce settlements in high income or high potential cases often include clauses that project future earnings as marital property. But a man like Oliver Anthony catapults to stardom seemingly overnight, is it just to treat his art, blood, sweat, and future creativity as a shared marital property, even post-separation? This is the question Scornful Woman dares to ask, without legalese and loopholes, just like a guitar and a wounded heart. While much of the media focuses on the juicy gossip of who wants what, the real issue is one of systemic design. Family court was never built to handle wealth, fame, or emotional fallout of divorce with integrity. It was built to assign fault, divide property, and too often treat fathers like wallets with visitation privileges. With no verified public statements on the child custody arrangement, speculation brews. And oftentimes when speculation is brewing, because nobody's talking, it's because usually there's a gag order that is generally applied on the man and not on the woman. And the court will often punish the man for talking and the woman not. But what's clear is that Anthony's song and silence suggest a man navigating legal landmines with little hope for peace. She can have the money and they can keep all the fame, but I will never forgive what they did to my name. So many men, the worst part about the divorce is not the money, but it's just dealing with a vindictive woman for years. Some men take a really bad L and the money is the worst part, but a lot of times it's just dealing with a crazy woman for years. What's happening to Oliver Anthony is happening to fathers across America, some famous, some forgotten. The family court system, powered by outdated formulas and incentivized conflict, often rewards whoever files first, cries foul loudest, or plays the part of the primary caregiver. In Anthony's case, Tiffany demands, reportedly reaching into his future earnings, are eerily similar to what millions of working-class fathers have faced without a platform or a podcast host to speak on their behalf. This is not about whether Anthony was perfect in his marriage. It's about a system that incentivizes punishment over partnership and monetizes fatherhood through alimony calculators and custody agreements that treat love as a liability. And by the way, I'm speculating here. So this is speculation. What I'm about to say did not happen as far as I know. What is a possibility is maybe he was unfaithful. Like what if, because he's getting all this newfound fame. I don't think it's out the realm of possibilities for even a good man to maybe entertain that. And maybe she's pissed he cheated and just using lawfare to ruin his life. Or maybe she was just she wanted to divorce him for years and now she got the time. Regardless, even if he did do things wrong in the marriage, and it's unfortunate that this system gives women the right to do that. This song isn't just an event, it's a cultural document. Like Johnny Cash before him, Anthony is singing what most men can't afford to say out loud. The family court system doesn't deliver justice, it delivers judgment. And sometimes the bigger the name, the deeper the cut. What happened to Johnny Cash? I don't actually know. Maybe, is there a song lyric I can read? Whether or not Oliver Anthony will ever publicly speak out about the details of his divorce or his children's custody, his message is clear. Fame doesn't buy you fairness. In fact, it makes you a bigger target. I want to see. And so this is oftentimes what happens. Like I see in many men think that they are safe and they think their woman would never do it. But you just never know. Many women think their husband would never cheat. And I realized the other day that a lot of times people use marriage as a way to control other people's behavior. And it doesn't matter how much you nag. It doesn't matter how much you beg your wife to stay. you cannot control another person. And people do have the right to their hell. So if you're married to someone and they leave, they do have the right to make their life hell. They do. I don't really believe in taking away people's right to their hell, but what I don't like is taking away the consequences. Where if you want to leave, that's fine, but why is he paying for her to leave? Johnny Cash. I'm going to see Johnny Cash divorce. Okay, Johnny Cash's first wife, Vivian Liberato, filed for divorce in 1966, citing his struggles with substance abuse, infidelity, and constant touring as major factors contributing to the marriage's breakdown. The divorce was finalized in the end of 1967. Vivian's relationship with the Catholic Church was also impacted as she was temporarily excommunicated due to the divorce. In his letter to the Catholic Church, Johnny took responsibility for the breakdown of the marriage, acknowledging his substance abuse and infidelities. Did he write a song about it? Is there a song I'm missing? I don't see it. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the men that think that this would never happen to them, and I can tell, like, if I had to predict, and I don't wish this upon anybody, I think that, like, I would predict a divorce for Charlie Kirk. I don't see a world where he doesn't get divorced, if I'm being honest, because he just has too much of an ego thinking it'll never happen to him. And a lot of times people with a big ego that think it'll never happen to them, it comes from a place of insecurity because they've never had to do, and I was talking to Doug MPA about a future show, they don't have to do the burden of performance in the dating market. And a lot of people that marry young, they exit the burden of performance, which is men not to simp and to be attractive to women. And women's burden of performance is to be attractive to men. So after the sex. So, you know, people get married young and they have no idea what it's like out there. They don't know what it's like to get ghosted. They don't know what it's like to have a woman be vindictive and try to ruin their life. And then once they go through it, and I think it's kind of a rite of passage for most men. I don't think most men can go through life without having a woman humble them in some way. If marriage was from God, Adam and Eve would have been married. It's man-made. I don't know. I question if marriage 1.0 was so great, why did everyone leave it the second they could? And the only answer that I have is that I think it's because it takes away the burden of performance. Because as a woman, if you sleep with a guy and you like him, your burden of performance after is to not be annoying, to be helpful, to see how you can fit into his life, and to be likable enough that he wants to commit. It's not to nag him into committing. It's making him, I don't want to say making, you can't make anyone do anything, but inciting feelings that allow, I don't want to say make, but you can't make anyone feel a certain way. So I'm trying to find a better way to put it. But you want to be in a place where the man is committing to you because he wants to, not because you nagged him into it. There's nothing worse than a woman that dragged the husband down the aisle and like nagged him into it. Who wants that? You want a guy that wants to be there. So, I'm not a religious expert. Burden of performance is an entirely materialistic phrase. Is it? I don't think so. I don't think a man holding frame is materialistic at all. I don't think a man not simping, I don't think that's materialistic. I don't think a woman not being annoying is materialistic. I don't think a woman being more feminine is materialistic. I don't. Burden of performance is not of the spirit. It's 100% materialistic. That's not how I see it. I mean, you could see it one way. But if you had all the answers, I'm sure you can put them on YouTube and people will watch it, you know. What can women do to make men feel like they're safe to commit? Well, it's not necessarily, partially you have to get a guy that's ready to commit and, you know, has a baseline attractiveness to you. Like I was there's a mom that called in a few shows ago and she was in a situationship with a guy where he just wouldn't commit, but she was a size 14. Guys will sleep with you for years and just think you're not hot enough to be their girlfriend. They're shutting up. I have a hard time with that one. It's being really observant about how to be useful to him in his life. You almost want to study the guy you're with and figure out things he needs that he doesn't even know that he needs. Those are always the best gifts, to be honest. Those really are. One of my favorite gifts I ever gotten was something I didn't even know I wanted. Look at the bottom of the document, okay? See, I want to give you guys examples of things I've found to be helpful, but sometimes I don't want to overshare, you know what I mean? I'm always towing that line where I'm like, I don't need an Abba and Preach clip of something. You know what I'm like? I don't want to, It's like the more I speak about my boyfriend, the more, do you see, they just go after. And plus, I don't want to ever act like I know everything. I could just say these things have worked for me, these things have not worked. But if you're interested, you can book a consultation on my website, and I can tell you my thoughts. Because, the one thing, you know that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife? It's not that you can't turn a player into a husband. You can, and women do. But I just want you to know I've gotten player stats of how many women they sleep with before they find one they like. And it's 1 to 4 out of 100. So those are your chances. And you look in the mirror and just ask yourself, is that you? And if it's not, you got to ask yourself why. And more times than not, the BMI chart is what you guys should look at. Women, we act like the BMI chart, it's accurate. Don't let anybody tell you it's not accurate. That shit is unless you are a bodybuilder woman, that's accurate. I used to think there was a while where I thought I was healthy because I was muscular. But it doesn't matter. Even though I was muscular, I still had a layer of fat over it. And my life, 20 pounds changed my life. It doesn't seem like that much. It's completely life-changing. Yeah, Jessica says 17 to 19 is ideal. That's true. You got to pay me for some of these secrets. I will tell you them, but I can't. Some of this stuff I can't put. Okay. Daddy Yankee claims estranged wife drew 80. Oh my gosh. As he files injunction amid split. Daddy Yankee has reportedly filed a motion against his estranged wife, Miss Miredes Gonzalez, claiming she withdrew $80 million without authorization from his El Cartel Records bank account. The Puerto Rican rapper filed his injunction on Thursday, December 12th in San Juan against Gonzalez, 47. His sister, Aisha Gonzalez Castellanos, and El Cartel Records, which Yankee founded, where Gonzalez is allegedly CEO and Gonzalez Castellanos is his secretary or treasurer. Per the filing, although Yankee Dandy, 47, is the owner of the shares of the company and the reason for its existence of Cartel Records, he lacks access, interference, and information to all that he generated and continues to generate, to which he is entitled. As a result of the Dura musician is asking for the immediate removal of the plaintiffs from any function or interference in the corporations as officers or administrators thereof, and the delivery of the information and documentation that they have illegitimately withheld. Daddy Yankee alleges that Gonzalez and Gonzalez Castellanos attempted to wield greater power over the operations of the cartel that was authorized, which has resulted in a detrimental and negligent performance for the company. The Latin Grammy winner also claims they failed to render an accurate account of their actions and disregarded formalities and requirements of corporate legislation. The filing also claims Gonzalez enlisted a third party to represent El Cartel in the sale of some of the plaintiff's music catalog, which Conrad acquired. Daddy Yankee claims the amount agreed upon turned out to be an unreasonable, disproportionate, and far below the real value. Allegedly, Daddy Yankee does not know the real scope of the transaction, nor does he have a detailed knowledge of what was or was not sold, nor the limitations he may have on the use of his musical creations. On December 2nd, Daddy Yankee confirmed on his Instagram stories that he and Gonzalez had called it quits after tying the knot in March 1995. With a heart full of respect and honesty, I want to share some important news about my personal life. The Gasolonia singer continued. After more than 2 decades of marriage and many months of trying to save my marriage, which my wife and I share today, my lawyers responded to the divorce petition received from Moretti's. I respect Moretti's decision, Daddy Yankee wrote, adding that he appreciates the time they spent together. This is not easy for me, but I understand that it is part of my life process. The former couple shares 2 kids. Daughter, Jessa Alays, 28, and son Jeremy, 26. Daddy Yankee also has another daughter from a previous relationship. Holy crap, 80 million. Do you know what? Doug MPA, he had no idea how much money he was making, and she had the keys to the vault. That's crazy. I have a thought, and I want to say this. I'm going to text it to you, Doug MPA. And I want you to tell me, this probably means I shouldn't say it. I got a thought. I'm going to text it to you. Let's see. He says, don't say. I didn't even tell you what I want to say yet. I didn't even tell you. Why is this an automatic? No, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay. All right. Okay, I got an approval. I go off too much, and we're trying to stay monetized on this channel. So I have an approval process when I have something edgy I want to say live. I'm a woman. I obviously have to ask a man. So, you know, when I see these stories and I think about myself, like I try to put myself in a man's shoes, and I'm like, what if I married? And Doug MPA, he asked me this the other day. And if I married a guy and I was married to him for 10 years, And maybe I introduced him to some people in the industry. We had a good run. We had so much fun. But for whatever reason, he just wanted to bang younger, hotter women, which is just an L. Like if I just, you know what I mean? If I just took that L. And then he decided that he wanted to take half of my earnings forever. It makes me understand why OJ did what he did. And I would have to pay for a house where he's banging a younger, hotter woman. I think do you know what? I might have to go the OJ route. I might have to go I don't want to say the self-deletion stuff, but I would rather die than do that. I really would. I'm too petty. You're gonna have to kill me first. You're gonna have to kill me. No, I didn't say, no, John, I didn't say that. That's not advice. No, that's not advice, and I'm not actually gonna do it, okay? Just in case I don't want to get in trouble. Not all women are like that. Not all men are like that. I condemn Hamas. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Are you men ready for Westworld androids yet? No? Okay, I'll check back in 5 years. I'm sure men and women's relationships will improve. Oh, now you're telling me to go the Bonnie Blue route. Okay, let's take morals out of this. So let's pretend, because I don't like to view myself as a good person. I think that the worst people view themselves as good people. I'm just a person. I try to do good. Sometimes I do bad. And a lot of the time I do, but I do my best, But let's say from a purely business perspective, I did the Bonnie Blue route. Now, would it make a lot of money? Yeah, duh. But here's the issue. I just can't. I am terrified. I am terrified of catching something. That is my worst fear. And thank you, God, never happened to me. But if it did, oh my God. And I've interviewed people that have non-curable. No. I mean, this is aside from the morality and all that. I don't know how she doesn't have AIDS. I think she has to catch AIDS by the end of this. I wish there was a way for me to verify she doesn't have it, because I would actually. You're a hidden feminist. I mean, I guess. I think I used to get mad when I would hear Rollo Tomasi say that we're all feminists. And I was like, no, not me, But everyone kind of is to some extent, because we all have to participate in the system. You have no choice. Your tax dollars go to feminism. It does. Bonnie Blue's power couple is Diddy. Yeah, they should. I don't know if AIDS is rampant in the U.S. I think it's rampant amongst gay guys. But do you know what? I know something's rampant when I meet people I know that have it. And I've met people that have caught incurable stuff. And that they're pretty devastated about that. But I've never met anyone with AIDS. So I don't know. Maybe I do know people and I just don't know. I would love to talk to a sex worker about STDs. No, do you know what? They're saying, oh, you must have, if you're worried about catching, okay, if I we said I had to go down the Bonnie Blue route. That's 1,000. You don't think, okay. I'm just saying, you would be surprised. Me too, I'm petrified. STDs, that's why. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how people aren't more, like, I'll hear people's escapades and I'm like, aren't you kind of nervous that something's gonna... I really want to get a sex worker to call in. Yeah, this is why I knocked out on the head. Too many STD women out there. I never caught anything. 2 checks, too flippant. Yeah. Yeah, the risk versus rewards. I know sex is, it's fun. It's a good time. So I see why people risk it. But some people, I'm like, you guys are just going crazy. Like, anyways, guys, it's been a good 40 minutes today. We have to do a short show. Cause it's Friday night. I got plans. Sorry, guys. I got stuff to do. I'm doing an early show tomorrow. Sunday we'll be back to the regular call-in, so there's no calls today. Call in tomorrow, or no calls tomorrow. Call in Sunday, and to end the stream, I am going to have to play my ad. So I'm going to have to do a plug. I'm going to have to. So basically, guys, we were doing if you go to pearlinvite.com, it's a one-time lifetime enrollment, and this is going to be really cool. You're going to just have to take my word that it's going to be cool. And you're going to get all of the smart, interesting men that I interview are going to do presentations on that platform. You are going to have to bear with me for the first few months. I'm just being honest here. We do have some cool stuff already. But the first few months we're building up. We're back in business now. So, but right now it's a lifetime guarantee. So as long as I don't die or something, you're going to be in it for life. And when I interview people, they're going to upload stuff. It's going to be dating, relationship, food. And eventually we're going to do really cool events. It's going to be fun. You're also probably going to meet me if you join it, which will be cool. But I'm going to play an ad and I'm going to make you guys listen to it. And that's how we're going to end the show today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Things more competitive right now. Dating, business, and just life in general. But most guys are being lied to. They're told to chase fantasies, trad values, fairy tales, and fake gurus. We found men who cracked the code, guys who killed it on dating apps, dominated cold approach, or built passive income. Real world, tested results. Join our private university and learn. Oh, I'm so sorry I disconnected the screen. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. Everything's my bad, guys, my bad. All right, here we go. We're going to go again. Everything's more competitive right now. Dating, business, and just life in general. But most guys are being lied to. They're told to chase fantasies, trad values, fairy tales, and fake gurus. We found men who cracked the code, guys who killed it on dating apps, dominated cold approach, or built passive income. Real world, tested results. Join our private university and learn directly from the men who figured it out. Click on pearlinvite.com, watch the short video, and